Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's been quite some time. I haven't posted in a while. I also had decided at some point just to completely stop posting and just stop with content creation and stuff. But the past 2 years have been very interesting in my life. I don't even know where to start. So the reason why I am coming back is because I just wanted to share a beautiful experience that I was able to experience in regards to my pregnancy. And I shared on my Instagram story that I will be doing a video specifically about that experience. But yeah, let's get into it. So I did want to come on here and share a positive pregnancy and birth experience, because I feel like there's just been so much negativity around pregnancy and giving birth, labor and delivery out there, that I'm really thankful that I was able to experience such a positive journey, basically, because it wasn't that positive beforehand. So the end of 2022, my husband and I, after the wedding, we tried to have a baby. I went to a doctor just to double check that everything is fine, just like a routine check. I went through the NHS and then I got a referral to go and see a gynecologist. And so I went there, and the first time I think I went by myself, and I just did routine checks like blood pressure, blood tests and things like that, but no checks like vaginal area whatsoever. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And then after that I had an ultrasound, and there were some results that came back, but I've never seen it. And the doctor told me at that time that I had that he wasn't sure what the issue is. So I had the ultrasound done, but the ultrasound, also the appointment of the ultrasound, which was separate from the initial blood pressure, blood test appointment, etc., was very short. The woman she checked it very quickly and that was it. And I was so confused because I felt like there was an issue. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I was diagnosed with fibroids in 2019 for the first time. And I also have had, because I haven't had my period yet since I have given birth, but I had extreme period cramps and very strong heavy bleeding and stuff like that. Yeah, so this video is gonna be very personal and very detailed, so yeah, just get ready. And at that time I just wasn't sure what's happening with my body. I started changing my diet as well, just to make sure that the period cramps aren't that heavy anymore, that the bleeding isn't that heavy anymore. But I still went obviously to the doctor to make sure I get checked up. And then he called me in, the doctor, after I received the ultrasound results, and I was told that there is something, but he doesn't know what it is. And in order for him to know what it is, it could be endometriosis, it could just be maybe a cyst, or the fibroids just that went bigger, but he couldn't really tell the size. He said so many things where I was just so confused. I was really confused. That doctor was one of Satan's soldiers. Sans effet au nom puissant du Seigneur. And he basically told me, in order for me to know what's really happening, we would need to do a small surgery. And that surgery was a laparoscopy. So I was confused as to why we would need to do that already, because we hadn't had done MRI. I didn't have I just had an internal ultrasound. I didn't have an external ultrasound, and I've asked but why can't we do that? And he said, no, I need to open you up. And he literally used those words, I need to open you up and see what's happening inside, and then if there is something, we'll work on it and remove it. If not, then it's a confirmation that there's nothing wrong. And I was like, not today, Satan. You ain't gonna get me. You know, these people that take organs and things like that and sell them on the black market. I was like, not today, not today. And this is how I, like, obviously I started praying. I talked to my mom about this, and yeah, I just got like information from different sources, from people who've experienced this kind of symptoms that I had. And yeah, just to figure out like what is happening, why am I not getting pregnant. And I had tried for a year, so even before the wedding, so it wasn't like after the wedding and I wanted to get pregnant right away. No, I had tried for a year. Well, we had tried for a year and just nothing was happening. I know some people might say, oh no, you should try longer, but from the doctor that I've seen after, he even confirmed that after a year you should start like seeing someone, just to be sure that everything is fine. And yeah, and then I was like, no, that is weird. And the weirdest part was that even though the doctor didn't get a confirmation from my part that I wanted to go ahead with the laparoscopy, let me double check that I'm saying that right. Okay, so when I was reading all of this, I was like, I don't think this is really necessary, especially that we hadn't done two of the main things that he wanted to diagnose me on, in like, because he wanted to diagnose me on endometriosis, and we hadn't done an MRI, we hadn't done an external ultrasound, even though maybe an external ultrasound is not going to show much, but we just we didn't do all these things. So I never gave my go ahead to actually go and do the laparoscopy. Is she waking up? And that's why I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead, look at my private healthcare, and just make sure that I go see a doctor that I really want, and I do my research on beforehand. So when all that happened, so in the meantime, the doctor already gave me an appointment, I think in March 2023. No, yeah, exactly. So I've seen the doctor in December 2022, and he gave me already at that time an appointment to do this insertion, whatever, in May 2023. But I've never agreed to it. I've never received a confirmation letter. I never, like, nothing, guys, nothing at all. And I was just so confused, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. Like, I need to actually look and find a second opinion. And this is how I, through Bupa Healthcare, I was able to choose the doctor I would want to see, because with the GP referral they give you doctors basically. And so I found like this German doctor, and he was just extremely amazing. And when I've seen him, I've explained to him the situation. I told him that, yeah, well, we've been in that position that the doctor told us this and this, and then he needs to do this insertion, this laparoscopy, and he says that I could have endometriosis, and that he needs to do like an operation, and all these kind of... Girl. Yeah, so I ended up explaining him everything in details, and then he was like, okay, before we can even move forward, he took a blood test, he took a urine sample, blood pressure, all these like basic things. And then he was like, I'll book you an appointment with our sonographer, and they are going to look into what is happening. I went to this appointment with my husband. Honestly, not gonna lie, I think they examined me for probably 25 minutes. The guy kept on looking and looking and looking, and we didn't ask many questions, because he said all the time, I'll give you, like, I will forward it to the doctor and he will talk to you once the results are all done, etc. Well, once the results are in. So after this appointment, I had another appointment to discuss these results. Yeah, he told me, I don't know what this doctor told you, but you are absolutely fine. Your eggs are like 100% fine. You do have a few fibroids, but they are literally minimal. Doing anything to these fibroids would, because the doctor also wanted to remove the fibroids that I have, but my fibroids are so small that there is literally no reason to remove them. And he doesn't know what he was talking about, because he was like, oh, your uterus is upside down, or like he was talking about so crazy things. Yeah, it was just like he was just talking bullshit basically. And that doctor specifically said, honestly, you are fine, like there's no reason for us to do anything at this point. All he could prescribe me was those medicines, Transemming, or can't remember anymore, just to stop like the heavy bleeding during my period. And I didn't even end up taking it because I got pregnant. That was like such a weird moment, because I went to this appointment I think in February, and then I got pregnant in April. I got pregnant in March, but I didn't find out till April. He even told me, I would say just try for the next 6 months. If you see there's still no involvement, then come back and see me, and then we'll look into other options. And yeah, then I had that possibility. So last year, by God's grace, I got pregnant. Unfortunately, I had been made redundant at my job, literally at the same time when I found out that the pregnancy wasn't viable. And it was a lot going on. I started beauty school at the same time, and it was literally the whole year of last year was me going through a miscarriage. I'm trying so hard not to cry. I'm literally trying so hard not to cry, because I feel like I just cried so much. I cried enough. Listen, God only knows. I cried. My husband and I, it's been a rough year last year. Even though the experience was very positive, I did have a scare at some point, because obviously with my fibroids, and in pregnancy the fibroids got a little bit larger, so they considered me a high risk. What does that mean? It basically means that high risk of bleeding after delivery, higher risk of stillbirth, miscarriage, like all these kind of things. I really just prayed. Like I prayed to God to make these fibroids unavailable throughout my pregnancy, that these fibroids didn't even exist for me. And my wish was also to do a water birth. I found out about hypnobirthing through a family member, and that was really like one of the best things I've ever looked into, because it just helped me, not just for the delivery, but throughout the pregnancy, throughout the remaining months of the pregnancy, to really be in the pregnancy, you know, like just feel within my body, feel comfortable, feel just like be sure about what my body is doing, how my body is working, how my body is reacting, and not fear the different things that are happening. But just to say that I just felt like it was important for me to feel confident with everything that my body is doing. I didn't expect to feel the kicks right away, because I was told, due to the size of the fibroids that I have, and due to the fact that I have so many, I might not feel my child kicking, or I might feel the child kicking, but not as much as a regular pregnant woman without fibroids would. And I felt, listen, this this child of mine has been literally having a party ever since it started kicking in my belly. So all these things, I didn't even try to like take them in, like those things that were negative around the pregnancy, you know. Like sometimes obviously obviously you need to take advice from doctors as much as possible, and just really pay attention to what they are saying. But sometimes, I don't know what it is, but as a woman you just have those instincts, you just feel it in your gut sometimes, that some of the things that are being said isn't necessarily something that I need to take into consideration. or my body needs to take it into consideration. So I just really paid attention to do what I felt deep in my gut was right to do for me throughout the pregnancy. And that's how I was just like living life. Like I was glowing. Everyone thought I'm gonna have a boy because my skin was just so nice. And but my skin wasn't actually, I mean, my skin was nice. I was glowing. I had good skin. The only thing that happened, obviously you can see, is hypopigmentation. It started off in November when I found out that I got pregnant. But I till this day I still don't know exactly what triggered losing melanin in this specific area. I have a friend of mine, she said, oh, your daughter took all the beauty from you. Yeah, so this basically started, and till this day I just still don't know what it is. I think I just lost melanin throughout the pregnancy because it got stronger and stronger throughout. You can also tell that here I don't have any hair anymore. Well, I do, but it's basically white. Yeah, that's the only thing really that was a bit annoying for me, because sometimes I just look at myself and I look at my previous pictures and I just don't look the same anymore. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not part of my face. I still do have hopes for it to go away at some point. If not, then it's just going to be my mark. Yeah, it's just gonna be my new mark. Yeah, it is what it is. Girl, she's having a good sleep, a good nap. Okay, let me just wrap this video up quickly before she wakes up. So yeah, let me go into the last part of this video, which is the delivery and labor experience. That part is the one that you guys are probably most excited about to hear, because it was so positive. And as a first-time mom, someone who gave birth for the very first time, a lot of people are always in shock when I tell them of how my birthing experience was. So like I said earlier, I did want to have a water birth. So I was lucky enough to not, oh yeah, true, because I was talking about, that's a very important factor. I was talking about the fact that they classified me as high risk at the very beginning, at this very, like at the beginning stages of my pregnancy. I think up to 4 months, 5 months probably, they classified me as high risk because of the fibroids. But I kept on telling them that, like, every time they asked me if everything's okay, like how's the, like if there's any bleeding or whatsoever, no bleeding, everything is fine. And I kept telling them that my wish is to give birth in the birth center. I didn't want to go on the labor ward because of how the labor ward is going to look like after giving birth. And this is just something that I did not want to experience. And the Seigneur vraiment, God got me. So the difference between birth center and labor ward is basically, for that specific hospital, was that once you deliver in your private room, but once you deliver, you will be put into a room with like 6 to 7 other women, or I think even 9 other women, and stay there until you are being released to go home. And usually they keep you in there for like about 6 hours or up to 24 hours if you need more like assistance, but like 6 hours if everything is fine. And as a first-time mom, you don't like to hear that. You don't want to be sent home after 6 hours. But at that time, it was just like, first off, I don't want to be in a room with 9 other women after I've given birth. And I also don't want to be sent home if you think that everything is fine. But for me, it's like, maybe I still want some assistance. And that's why the option of the birth center came in. And they said that the only difference is that at the birth center, the only pain relief that they have is the suction, the gas and air. And I think that's it. I think the gas and air, paracetamol, which doesn't really do anything. Well, no, not paracetamol, codeine. Yeah, and I think that's it, really. So on the birth center, there's no epidural, there's no C-section, there's no well, there's basically no things that would require a doctor to interact. It's only midwives, and I personally, since I had that great experience throughout the pregnancy with the midwives, I've only seen a doctor once when they told me that my baby is going to be too big, and she wasn't even that tall. But I only had an interaction with the doctor once, and I feel like midwives just know best when it comes to female bodies and pregnancies. So I really pray to God to really give me that opportunity to be able to give birth in a birth center. So I prayed so much. I really prayed that I will be able to give birth in an environment that is going to be filled with tranquility, filled with positivity, filled with calmness, filled with stressless people around me. And God just answered my prayer. I just feel so honored. I feel honored to have had that experience, because so many women just don't. And I feel honored to even being able to share this right now, because it was just like something that I feel like God had put me through this because he wanted me to be the bearer of that message that you can have a positive birth experience, right? And yeah, so at some point, when I kept on saying that everything is fine, they, on my birth plan, they saw that I wanted to give birth in a birth center. So I got referred to the birth center at the very end, like at 38 weeks. Yeah, 38 weeks, I got referred to the birth center, and I was so scared that I would get the baby before 38 weeks. So yeah, fast forward, I arrived at 40 weeks and 6 days. So I was like slightly over my due date. And I really just wanted this baby to come out. Like, I literally started eating spicy food, like piment, piment. And I hate spicy food, like I hate it so much. I started eating dates, the okra water, raspberry leaf tea, all these kind of things. I don't really know if this really helped, but I just did it because everyone was talking about it to do, so I just did it. What I also did a lot was pelvic floor exercises. I did the perineal massage, so in between your vagina and your anal entrance, you know, like where you can basically massage. I don't know how to explain it. Listen, just Google perineal massage and just massaging that. I did this in the shower, just to really massage this area, because I believe this helped me not to have any tears. So I had like very slight contractions on a Friday around 4 p.m. and I started and we even went to the hospital at that time, and we got to the hospital and the midwife told me, well, you're not even 1 centimeter dilated. And I was like, and I'm already feeling that pain. I was so confused. I was like, what is the actual pain going to be at 10 centimeters or like at least 6-7 centimeters? And yeah, so they've sent us back because we came to the hospital literally with all our stuff, with our bags and the car seat, everything. And they told us, you're not even 1 centimeter. So I was like, well, we were like, okay, let's just go home, do the walking. So I literally walked. At the end of the pregnancy, I walked a lot. I went like walking pretty much every day. So I started with the contractions. Yeah, so the contractions started, I got to the hospital, wasn't even 1 centimeter dilated, went back home, started doing all my routines from drinking raspberry leaf, eating dates, drinking okra water, going for walks, and doing all these things really just to make sure that this baby is coming out. And then nothing really happened till like 10 p.m. or so, because I started getting really hungry. So my husband and we got us a pizza. I was really fine with eating that pizza, but it was spicy. So at some point I was just like, I need to go out, I need some fresh air. And we went for a walk, we went outside, and I started throwing up. I literally throw up the whole pizza. I hadn't had the pizza in my mouth maybe like for 2 hours max, and I throw everything out, and I was so much in pain. And that was around midnight. That was around midnight on that Friday. And then we went back home. We didn't even manage to go for a walk because I was just so much in pain. And we went back home. I took a shower. I tried to lay down, but then I was screaming like a hyena in my bed. I was literally like going from one side to the other, one side to the other. And this is when the contractions started coming, like at first it was every 5 minutes, and then it went so quick because they started coming every 5 minutes, every 4 minutes, and then I was like, guys, call the Uber, we need to get to the hospital. And then around 4 a.m. we called the Uber. I just know that we got to the hospital at 6 a.m. We got there at 6, and I was literally like as if I was on drugs, because I don't remember that moment. I just know that they wanted to have a look how far I am dilated. They just asked me how I was doing. Then at some point I was just sitting, and they said they were prepping the room. And the minute we got to the hotel, to the hospital, I was dilated between 5 and 6 centimeters. So it was perfect timing for me to arrive. And then we progressed into the room. It was beautiful. The water was already like in the pool, and I just took all my clothes off, and then they asked me right away, do you want to go into the water already? So I went into the water. I sat down, and the water, oh god, that was such a nice moment. Oh my god, the water was so warm, and it was like so soothing on my body. It just felt so good, like as if the pain was gone immediately. It felt so good. And then I was just in the water, and my contractions just kept on going, kept on coming. Then they gave me the gas and air, and then around 8 a.m. The contractions started like really coming, and this is when the midwife said, like, now you need to push, push, and within 15 to 20 minutes my baby was there. And that was like something I was like, what? I think I was in labor for about 9 hours, and I pushed for about 15 to 20 minutes for the little one to come out. And I'm so thankful. I always forget the name of this midwife, but she was really like an angel sent. And I was really, really thankful for her. Yeah, and then literally just finished off with like pushing out the, what's it called? The placenta. One push and the placenta was out. Yeah, so I didn't tear. I didn't lose a lot of blood. So even postpartum bleeding isn't heavy, or wasn't heavy. And I'm really grateful. Like every single step, like at labor and delivery, was just like a smooth kind of situation. And yeah, this birth was just amazing. And then after I pushed out the placenta, the midwife said something that really, really touched me till this day. She was like, oh my god, your body really has been made to give birth. And that was like a moment where I was like, the fact that she's saying that after everything I've experienced before with this laparoscopy and the endo and the like weird doctor and the miscarriage and all these kind of things, and then to hear someone say this, that melted my heart. That was like one of the, after obviously giving birth, one of the most beautiful moments, just to hear that. Yeah, that really touched me. I think the reason why I keep saying I had a beautiful and good experience is that I wasn't focused on the pain. Listen, the pain is part of the game, any game, you know. And but if you focus too much on the pain, this is all you're gonna think about. Oh my god, it's gonna hurt. Oh my god, it's gonna hurt. Oh my god, it's gonna hurt. but I wasn't even thinking about that. I mean, in the moment itself, I was like, oh my god, it hurts, oh it hurts, etc., etc. But my main thing was just to be able to have the baby with me after. And I kept on asking, do you see her, do you see her? And yeah, just trying to push it. And at some point I just pushed it in my head. I was just like, now you better come out. And this was like my main concern. It wasn't about the fact that it's gonna hurt me. Even if I would have teared, like, listen, that's also part of the game. That's all part of the game. But as long as you focus on the delivery, in literally like just delivering this human being into this world, that's like the most exciting for me personally. And this is how I was able to transform this whole situation and really say that I had a beautiful experience. At the same time also, I believe that the difference, I believe that I was very lucky. I was very lucky as a first-time mom to have that experience, because after 15 minutes and the baby was out, not many people experienced that. And also the labor time wasn't that long, not many people experienced that. So with, I'm a Christian, and with prayer, God allowed me, and that's why I feel very honored to have been in that position and the delivery and deliver the way I delivered this baby into this world. But yeah, just to really wrap this up with saying that I thank God especially that I was able to have that type of experience. And yeah, now my little blessing is here, and she's just adorable. Yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I did want to come on here and start off my YouTube channel again with this experience, and just share one of my life experiences. So yeah, that's the end of the video. If you have questions, honestly, don't hesitate to just ask, leave a comment down below, share this video with someone that is a new parent that needs some advice in terms of delivery, labor and delivery, or just like birthing options and things like that. And also I feel at the time when I was looking online to look at positive birth experiences from black women, I hadn't seen many, and I feel like there's a lack of transparency when it comes to those type of experiences. If you haven't already, share this video, tell someone about it, like it, comment, you know, let that algorithm do its thing. Follow me on Instagram, because I'm gonna start posting more stories, and I'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching.